back here at the National Firearms Museum for another installment of the Curator's Corner. We're here in the Ruger Gallery. I'm here with Phil Schreier. He's a senior curator of the Firearms Museum. And Phil, Hollywood Guns is a great special display here in the Ruger Gallery. You said 105 firearms, memorabilia, the costumes, posters. It's awesome. And you're looking at firearms from films both old and new, and contemporary firearms, and some not so contemporary firearms in new films. So it's really neat. And today, Phil, that is quite a firearm. I have to admit, I don't know what in the world it is, so please tell us.
Oh, it's heavy.
It looks heavy, man.
It's a Nock Volley gun. There's 7 barrels.
Right.
All tied together here.
Right.
On only one source of ignition.
I give up.
Well,
what's the trick?
The trick is when you pull the trigger, all 7 go off at once. That's why it's called a volley gun.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And look at the diameter of the bore on those. Those are all in. It's like firing 7 rifles at one time. Basically what these were made for was the Royal Navy. To
sink a ship?
Well, it depends on where you placed it against the bulwark there. The gun was designed by a London gunsmith that made these for the Royal Navy, and basically they were one-shot wonders.
Okay.
You gave it one shot. You cleared a deck with it. You repelled borders with it. It's a really neat gun. It's going to kill on one end and maim on the other when it goes off. That's Jim Speaker, our director, gave us that line.
Jeez, yeah, and a good big brass plate. That'll probably dislocate your shoulder when that thing goes off.
The neat thing about it is this was people are saying, "What are you doing with that in Hollywood Guns?" Well, this is a real antique. One of those few instances where you have a real antique, in this case a gun that was well over 100 years old, almost 150 years old, when the film The Alamo was made in 1960 with John Wayne.
A classic.
If you remember, Richard Widmark played Jim Bowie, and uses this to great effect in one of the last scenes in the film. Nock Volley guns have appeared in Sean Bean's character, Sharp's Rifles, a great BBC British television mini-series about the 95th Rifles during the Peninsula Campaign of the Napoleonic Wars. One of his sergeants carries a Nock Volley gun with him. And
wow.
They were also in Russell Crowe's classic Master and Commander.
Right, just saw that movie.
You see a
great
couple
movie.
of these make an appearance there. But this is the original. This is Richard Widmark's. This is what was used in John Wayne's 1960, The Alamo.
That is so. It's kind of like a shotgun on steroids, sort of.
It is. It's an amazing gun. I've never fired one. Never want to.
I was gonna say. I don't know. I'm up for just about anything. That thing has got to have a kick to it.
Well, not only that, but if you want to reload, you've got to reload all 7 barrels.
I was going to say, can you hold off for a second while I reload?
Well, it meant to just keep the logistics of it. You've got 7 barrels. You're loading them, and the battle's going on. You go, did I already put a round down? I wonder.
Oh no! What did I do?
What's down in that chamber? Did I miss this one? And skip. You have a bunch of Post-it notes on the muzzles to keep track of.
And after a while, if you're carrying it around, depending on where you're using it, obviously they were deployed from the Royal Navy on a lot of different places, though. I mean, it could get a little tiring carrying that around for a couple of hours or for a day and a half.
You can tell, especially in Sharp's rifles, that the one they're using is made out of rubber, because that sergeant just runs around everywhere with it, and this weighs a good 15 pounds. So that's not the way that happened.
That is impressive, and I'll tell you what, Phil, it's another one of there's such a great range. What I've struck by is the range of firearms from the conventional. We've seen conventional and classic firearms, but the way they're used, the way they're dressed, the way they're utilized in films, it's pretty amazing. And as you mentioned before, with some of the firearms, not this one, of course, being antique, some of the firearms, may have appeared in 2 or 3 different films and as props in television films, and it's an amazing connection between firearms and motion pictures. It really is.
Really, it's a lot of fun. And we've always said the reason for the popularity of this exhibit and the one that preceded it on the same subject is that no matter how you personally feel about guns, most everybody loves movies. Yeah. And they may not, enjoy the hobby or go out and participate, but they love watching Schwarzenegger's The Terminator, or John Wayne.
If you don't like John Wayne, you're gonna like the album. If you don't like the album, you're gonna like No Country for Old Men. I mean, come on, there's got to be something in here that gets you. There's a lightsaber, for crying out loud. Who doesn't like that?
And for us gun guys, I would think that if you were able to seriously sit down and take a poll or get into their heads, you'll find out that our desires and interests in using guns came from watching television and movies as a kid.
How much?
It was wanting to go out and play cowboys and Indians in the backyard.
We want to play Army. That was it.
Yeah.
Army. Yeah. That was the game. It was one Army. Whatever you could use as a firearm, a stick or whatever would suffice.
Yeah, for me, it was watching Rat Patrol in combat.
Oh, the best.
That was
the best. So tell us how we can come and see that beautiful antique and the others here at the Hollywood Guns Collection.
Well, this original Nock Volley gun is on display at Hollywood Guns at the William B. Ruger Gallery of the National Firearms Museum. The museum is open 7 days a week, free of charge, from 9:30 to 5 p.m. There's plenty of parking. We're located just outside the city of Washington, D.C. in Fairfax, Virginia, off of Route 66. You can visit us 24 hours a day online at nramuseum.com.
And I know why you're excited, because we just announced this. We were talking about this earlier. We have a brand new feature at nramuseum.com called On the Road, where we took some cameras, some mics, and went out with you and Jim Sapika, the director here, and went to the Wanamaker Tulsa Arms Show, and you guys went out there and talked all day long to folks about their firearms, antiques like this, no rubber guns, but everything else in between. And we put it together and put a program together called On the Road, NFM On the Road. And we're very excited to be rolling that out on your website now. So when you go to the National Firearms Museum site, check that out as well.
Can't wait to see it myself.
Phil, thank you very much for another beautiful firearm here on the Curator's Corner.
John, thanks again for having us on the show.